Indonesia, a nation often underestimated, holding immense global significance. It's the fourth largest country, home to the world's biggest Muslim population, spread across 17,000 islands. Its sheer scale boasts a deep history, unique geography, and remarkably diverse cultures. Let's embark on a quick exploration, shall we? Our story starts over 4,000 years ago with the arrival of Austronesian people. Before them, we encountered diminutive hominids, known as Flores man, found in Flores. Then there was Java man, discovered on Java, representing early Homo erectus fossils. These ancient humans were quite different from us Homo sapiens. Now, returning to Homo sapiens. When Austronesians reached Indonesia around 2000 BC, they found an ideal climate for farming. A distinct dry season, a monsoon season, and consistently warm temperatures. Regarding its starting position, Indonesia presents both amazing and challenging circumstances. The land sits upon a truly astounding geological wonder, the Ring of Fire. By all accounts, this doesn't sound promising. Indonesia is located on the Pacific Ocean belt, where massive underground molten rock masses clash. These shifting tectonic plates trigger intense earthquakes and frequent volcanic eruptions. Conversely, these fiery geological forces contribute rich, fertile soil. What does this fertility signify? It means abundant food supplies, ensuring your population won't go hungry, and providing a substantial advantage for population growth. Numerous seafaring kingdoms emerged on Sumatra and Java, with the Strait of Malacca serving as a crucial point along major maritime routes linking East Asia, South Asia, and Oceania. As Javanese traders and other mariners embarked on journeys throughout the region, Indian civilization spread across Southeast Asia starting in the 1st century, introducing Hinduism and Buddhism to the area. It was in the 7th century that the Srivijaya Empire established dominance over significant portions of Sumatra, Western Java, and much of the Malay Peninsula. Of course, other Hindu and Buddhist polities existed, such as the Mataram Kingdom, centered in central Java. Here, Javanese artistry and construction thrived. Magnificent temples were erected, including Borobudur, the world's largest Buddhist monument, and Prambanan, the largest Hindu temple complex in Indonesia. So I chose to purchase a hat, allowing me to blend in locally. The Srivijaya Empire followed Buddhism and maintained positive ties with the Chola dynasty in southern India. However, relations deteriorated significantly in the 11th century. Following incursions by the Chola Empire and conflicts with other Javanese states, the Srivijaya Empire's influence waned, transforming the Chola king from a novice player into a formidable force. This power vacuum enabled the Hindu Majapahit kingdom to expand. And indeed, they did expand. When the Yuan dynasty of China launched an invasion, the Majapahit Empire initially allied with the Chinese or Mongol forces to defeat a rival kingdom, only to then turn against them and drive them from the islands. Following the passing of the Prophet Muhammad in 632 AD, Islamic caliphates initiated military campaigns, broadening their territories through expansion. As we all understand, achieving victory necessitates a robust economy. Economies are built upon commerce, and trade routes form their fundamental structure. The Indian Ocean has been a crucial trade artery since antiquity. Merchants would plan their voyages according to monsoon patterns, utilizing predictable winds to aid their journeys. In their pursuit of spices and favorable deals, Arab Muslim traders and merchants played a pivotal role in propagating Islam. The Majapahit rulers extended their dominion to include other islands, concentrating primarily on securing and maximizing control over the lucrative spice trade. They achieved considerable success, but sustaining that success proved challenging. It was a classic succession crisis that ultimately weakened the empire. This allowed the newly established Sultanate of Malacca to gain a foothold. As time progressed, numerous other smaller sultanate entities emerged, and this is how Islam journeyed from Arabia to Indonesia. However, this specific island, Bali, resisted conversion to Islam, and it became the destination for a large contingent of the elite and members of the royal family from Majapahit. To this day, this island preserves its distinct Balinese cultural heritage. The Balinese people are Hindu, and this has been the case since the 1st century. However, unlike traditional Hinduism, Balinese practice possesses a unique character, blending Hinduism, Buddhism, and local customs honoring nature, ancestors, and spirits. In the 16th century, we witnessed the arrival of the Portuguese. They were the initial Europeans to reach the region, as they had developed sufficient maritime capabilities to traverse oceans. In 1511, they captured the strategically important port city of Malacca. The Portuguese' primary objective was to monopolize the lucrative spice trade. The nutmeg plant, indigenous to this region, was exceptionally rare and valuable, fetching substantial profits upon its sale back home. Upon their arrival, they quickly observed that the local kingdoms were frequently engaged in conflict, and through military force and pacts with local leaders, they established trading posts and fortifications. Nevertheless, their presence proved transient with the subsequent arrival of enter the Dutch, or more precisely, a company of Dutch origin. The VOC, also known as the Dutch East India Company. This entity was granted extensive authority by the Dutch government, all in the name of profit. The company received authorization to wage war, apprehend and execute individuals, negotiate treaties, issue its own currency, and establish settlements. The VOC seized the western Javanese city of Jayakarta, where they subsequently founded the city of Batavia. From this base, they battled the Portuguese to gain complete command of the spice trade, all while exploiting the fragmented smaller kingdoms within Java. The Dutch employed the typical cruel tactics against their subjects, mirroring the actions of many other European powers at that time. They introduced superior organization, weaponry, vessels, educational systems, and substantial financial backing. It was during this era that Malay became the official administrative language, having been utilized by traders for centuries. Unlike other European colonizers, whose languages became widespread among their colonies, few individuals speak Dutch today, and few words were incorporated into what would evolve into the Indonesian language. In 1799, the Dutch East India Company faced bankruptcy, and the Dutch government assumed control of the colony. But hold on, what was transpiring in Europe? Napoleon, a military leader and later emperor, significantly disrupted the European powers, and the Dutch found themselves under the influence of the cunning Napoleon. Until his defeat in 1815, the Dutch reclaimed control of the East Indies following Napoleon's downfall. Through military campaigns, they expanded their influence, subduing kingdoms in Lombok, Sulawesi, the Sultanate of Banten, and Aceh. The Dutch exerted their authority over these regions in a brutal and oppressive manner. A system of compulsory cultivation and forced labor was implemented on Java. This system generated immense wealth for the Dutch and bound peasants to their land, compelling them to labor on government-owned agricultural estates. After more than 300 years of subjugation and colonial rule, the early 20th century marked the emergence of the initial nationalist sentiments, when the formidable Japanese Empire swept through Southeast Asia during World War II. Initially, the Japanese were viewed with a degree of optimism, but the people of Indonesia were once again exploited for their land and resources, subjected to oppression under a different banner and name. As the Japanese withdrew towards the conclusion of World War II, Sukarno and Hatta declared Indonesian independence on August 17, 1945. The Dutch, initially supported by the British, attempted to re-establish their dominance. Indonesians, possessing hundreds of distinct languages, ethnic groups, cultures, and customs, were unified by a single sentiment: their profound hatred for the Dutch and colonial powers in general. The conflict persisted for 4 years. Indonesia managed to garner diplomatic support throughout this period, securing backing from the UN. On December 27, 1949, after 4 years of conflict, Indonesia emerged victorious, and the Netherlands formally acknowledged its sovereignty. There are various approaches to establishing a nation. This newly formed nation was founded on 3 core ideals: one motherland, one nation, and one language; a single homeland, a unified country, and a shared tongue. The majority of people in Indonesia use a different regional dialect at home. Due to its extensive background and traditions, numerous languages exist. Actually, there are more than 700. Nevertheless, Bahasa Indonesia was selected as the nation's official tongue by Sukarno and fellow nationalists. During the 1960s, Sukarno received backing from the Soviet Union and launched an invasion of Dutch New Guinea. The Netherlands had neglected to begin discussions regarding the future of this territory. As communist influence spread throughout Indonesia, the United States intervened with some CIA activity. Sukarno was ousted, replaced by an anti-communist military leader. It's important to note that Suharto was not known for his kindness. His actions led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands, and many were imprisoned by the military. A significant number of communists and leftist thinkers met violent ends. He also encouraged substantial foreign investment in the nation, which spurred economic progress, all while enriching himself and his family through business ventures and considerable corruption. This particular area here is the ancestral home of New Guinea's native inhabitants, generally referred to as Papuans. The Papuans were originally intended to have the option of independence, but if the Papuans achieve self-rule, could other regions follow suit? Furthermore, they discovered abundant valuable natural resources in this area, and who would willingly relinquish that? International powers chose to look the other way, and this territory remains part of Indonesia. Additionally, Portuguese Timor was annexed in 1975. Democracy then took root at the dawn of the 21st century. Indonesia continues to be a fascinating nation. On the economic front, it's a burgeoning economic force, yet by global metrics, it's still considered a developing nation. Within this country reside countless distinct ethnic groups, each possessing unique cultures and practices. The Javanese people feature traditional puppetry performances, where narratives unfold through the art of skilled puppeteers. Balinese culture includes a tooth filing ceremony, a rite of passage into adulthood where a priest carefully reshapes and smooths 6 of the upper teeth with a specialized instrument. You will also encounter an age-old art form known as batik, prevalent throughout Indonesia. Batik fabric is worn for both formal and informal occasions, celebrations, religious ceremonies, and even in everyday settings. Every distinctive pattern or design carries its own underlying philosophy or symbolic significance. It's impossible to detail every single culture or custom exhaustively, as we would be occupied for an entire day. But this nation truly embodies unity amidst diversity.